Good Saturday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's weather forecast, I'll be covering a huge cold blast, bringing very cold temperatures and wind chills today through tomorrow here on your Sunday on March 19th. And then a west coast storm will bring heavy rain, heavy snow from Sunday all the way through the middle of next week on Wednesday, the 22nd. And then an interesting storm is brewing for next week with more heavy rain, snow, and possibly a severe weather outbreak towards the end of next week. There are some forecast changes with this storm, so stick with me through the video to get those details. But if you guys here are not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button down below so you don't miss out on all of my daily weather forecast updates. If you like detailed weather breakdowns and you live across southern Canada, the United States, or the tropics, definitely hit the subscribe button down below. Also press the like button, the thumbs up button here. Let's try to get to 1,000 likes again on today's video. I definitely appreciate it. It helps to get all of this information out to as many people as possible, the more likes that we get. But going through this morning, it is definitely cold. Make no mistake about it. We are down into the single digits and teens this morning across much of the Midwest, 20s across the Ohio Valley. But look up here in North Dakota and northeastern Montana here in most of southern Canada. We are actually below zero here, at least in the single digits to even teens below zero, especially as you get up into central portions of Manitoba and northwestern Ontario this morning. And again, that cold air moves farther to the south. And just over the past 24 hours, this is your temperature change, a good 10 to 25 degrees, a change from yesterday at this time for temperature. So definitely seeing the effects of that strong cold front moving through. And looking at the wind chills this morning, it is bitterly cold across the north, not only to southern Canada where we have 20-degree below zero wind chills, but teens below zero across North and South Dakota, some parts of Nebraska, getting through Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and parts of northern Illinois that are in the single digits below zero here. So definitely bundle up as you head out the door this morning. And as we go through the day, we will have some cold enough air, air aloft up here to the Great Lakes that we might have to contend with some lake effect snow throughout the day today. Otherwise, a very cold Canadian high pressure system will be working in across the northern plains and sliding to the south and east as we go through the day today. And you can see by Saturday night, that is centered across the central plains, and it is going to be bringing lots of that radiational cooling that we look for some very cold setups as we head in towards tonight. But with the Great Lakes setup with the lake effect snow, we could have a few inches of snow flying across the UP of Michigan up there toward Lake Superior, the eastern side of Lake Michigan, so western lower Michigan, maybe a few inches of snow there, and then near Lake Erie there, so places like northeastern Ohio, northwestern Pennsylvania, into western New York State, so the Buffalo region out up toward Watertown, Syracuse, we may be seeing some decent snows, a few inches going through that Monday time frame. But going farther to the south, we have widespread freeze watches and freeze warnings going from the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex all the way eastward here into North Carolina near the Raleigh region. And it is going to be cold going through this weekend. In fact, your high temperatures this afternoon will be chilly here across the north. We're seeing highs recovering only into the teens and 20s across the northern plains, the upper Midwest, and the Great Lakes regions. And even farther south, again, a decent change from what we have seen in the recent days. Temperatures will be down into the 40s and 50s as far south as the Rio Grande Valley. You're going to have to go into central or southern Florida, into the Orlando region, Tampa Bay, or Miami to reach the 80s here across the United States this afternoon. And then look at tonight. These are why we have the freeze watches and warnings to the south. We'll see that freezing line go all the way down into the central Gulf Coast states, the Carolinas, and the southern plains here. And then look at north of that freezing line. We see a lot of these widespread single digits and even below zero single digit lows going into the Saturday night here. So definitely going to be bitterly cold, especially up across the Dakotas as we wake up on your Sunday morning. But we will start to see a little bit more return flow to the air as we head into Sunday, more of a southerly flow in the low levels. So we'll recover into the 40s and even the 50s out here as far north as South Dakota near the Rapid City region as we head into Sunday. and even parts of the Chicagoland area, Milwaukee, Detroit, you guys will be recovering into the upper 30s and lower 40s on your Sunday afternoon as well. But looking at Sunday, again, that high pressure system, that will continue to dominate the weather across the eastern two-thirds of the country. Exception here will be southern Florida, maybe that remnant rain shower, thunderstorm activity with that cold front moving off the east coast. But then we turn our attention to the west. This is our next storm going into Sunday afternoon and Sunday night, and this again will pack quite a punch because you see on the west coast we'll be introducing some rainfall chances across portions of northern and central California and southwestern Oregon as soon as 7 a.m. on Sunday, March 19th, and that actually moves farther inland with some of the rain showers into northwestern Nevada, much of the Sacramento Valley, into west central Oregon going into Sunday afternoon by 4 o'clock, and then more of this will turn to snow as we have more cold air aloft, and especially the Sierra Nevadas. Again, we're going to be seeing another heavy snow setup for you going as early as Monday morning. That continues through Monday afternoon. Going through the day on Tuesday, we have another system moving in across central and southern California now, so this will affect more of the San Francisco, Santa Barbara, Los Angeles, and San Diego regions, and then farther east into Arizona, so places like Flagstaff here into Phoenix. We'll start to see more heavy rain on your Tuesday. That pushes eastward. We get absolutely crushed by more heavy snow into the Sierra Nevadas as we head into Tuesday afternoon. Then even going into Wednesday, we still have all that moisture across the west with a lot of the heavier snow showers up across the Rocky Mountains here from Colorado to Wyoming, southern portions of Montana, and maybe even some snow mixing in across portions of Flagstaff down here and toward the Albuquerque region as we go in towards Wednesday afternoon. So we do have winter storm watches. These are your teal or blue shaded colors here across portions of the Sierra Nevada mountains. That's where we expect a significant snow over the next several days, and you see that adding up across much of the Sierra Nevadas and really much of the inner Mountain West going through the week next week on going all the way through Thursday, March 23rd. And zooming it in here, not only for the Sierra Nevadas, but we're talking about lots of the state of Nevada up here towards Salt Lake City, even getting into western portions of the Rockies here, and getting down into northern New Mexico, northern Arizona near the Flagstaff region, seeing a few inches of snow. But we will still see a couple feet, maybe 1 to 3 feet of snow or so going up here across parts of the Sierra Nevada mountains from now through Thursday afternoon on March 23rd. So definitely some heavy snow for you. And the heavy rain. So where we don't have snow, we'll have heavy rain, and that's all along coastal California. All these areas here from northwestern California to southern California, including the Los Angeles region, we will be seeing multiple inches of rain, averaging around 1 to as much as 3 inches or more of rain. Some isolated areas could get up to 4 inches going through that Thursday, March 23rd time frame, and that has a concern for flash flooding. The Weather Prediction Center has a marginal risk for flash flooding down here across the Sacramento Valley, getting down toward the Los Angeles region and San Francisco by Tuesday into Wednesday, and even a flooding risk across central portions of Arizona just north of Phoenix toward the Flagstaff region. So that will be Tuesday into Wednesday this upcoming week. Then we see that system move off the Rockies as we head in toward the middle of the week here, and this will set up the end of the week's pattern across the eastern two-thirds of the country. So we have the return flow on Wednesday, March 22nd. We have a warm front setting up somewhere across portions of the Central Plains and Missouri Valley. South of the warm front, temperatures will be easily into the 70s, if not the lower 80s from Texas to Oklahoma to southern Kansas here, and the return of moisture. The western Gulf of Mexico will be open for business here, and we'll see dew points rising into the 50s up here into the Missouri Valley and the 60s down here near the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and Red River area southward toward Houston as we get through the day on Wednesday. Now, the system, as it kicks off, the front range of the Rockies will be pretty strong, a 999 millibar low, but that warm front will be the focal point for precipitation initially on Wednesday evening. You see that up here towards Chicago, Fort Wayne, South Bend, Indiana, and then back toward the Kansas City region, with some of that warmer air advection pushing farther north. As we go into Thursday morning, we could have a little bit of an overrunning event up along the warm front where we have more of a rain shower and even scattered thunderstorm set up again from Chicago to Detroit, Fort Wayne, South Bend, Indiana, and then back toward the Kansas City region. A couple of these storms could produce some heavy rain showers. Be on the lookout for that going into Thursday morning. And this could be setting up maybe an isolated chance for some 1 to 2 inch totals up here from northern Missouri, southeastern Iowa, north central Illinois, into northern portions of Indiana here, including the Chicago, South Bend, and Fort Wayne areas, maybe even Peoria, Illinois, for the heavier rainfall going into that Wednesday and Thursday timeframe on March 22nd and March 23rd. Then the setup on Thursday. Now it gets a little bit more interesting. We have more of a stationary boundary. So this warm front actually goes more stationary, doesn't move much going into Thursday the 23rd. South of the boundary, spring-like temperatures. It's fair game for thunderstorms down here with all of this instability. Right along and north of the front, again, more heavy rain, maybe some rain and snow showers farther to the north. But south of the boundary, here we go, and you see the dew points rising into the 50s and 60s out here all across the eastern two-thirds of the country. And we have a pretty powerful trough moving in as well. So that means the jet around this trough, the mid-level jet, is going to be pretty feisty going into that Thursday afternoon and especially Thursday night time frame. And we have to be concerned about not only some flooding rains here from the Ohio Valley, the Midwest here, and then down through the southern plains, but we have to be concerned about a severe weather threat going into Thursday as well. The Storm Prediction Center has already, on day 6, have already initialized a slight risk or a 15% shading here. This does include the Oklahoma City area, Fort Sill down here toward Lawton, and getting down into Wichita Falls, Vernon, Texas, and then maybe just west of the DFW Metroplex here, and I think this could expand a little bit going closer to this event, so we'll be watching that. You can see by Thursday afternoon, our next system coming in here from the southwest along the base of that trough. We'll have some warm air advection initially during the afternoon, so the atmosphere will remain capped, but as we start to see the cooler air move in on the backside of this system, we're going to see the clash of the warm air from the south with the moisture and the cold, dry air from the northwest, and right along that stationary boundary, we'll have heavy rain and some stronger storms, especially with southward extent here into Texas and southern portions and central Oklahoma going into Thursday night. Mainly, I think a damaging wind and large hail risk. I think the tornado risk will remain low. Then going into Friday, I think this cold front becomes more progressive Friday, so this will move across the Arklatex and southern portions of the Missouri Valley all the way to the Houston region. We have to watch out for a squall line of some damaging winds, possibly more intense on Friday afternoon, and that will scoop across portions of the Ohio Valley, at least the lower Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, and the central Gulf Coast states, again going toward Friday night. And this will set up some heavy rain. So Thursday to Friday, a nice swath here in the blue and purple shaded colors of 1 to 3 inches of rain from Detroit all the way through the Chicagoland area, Indianapolis, St. Louis, and all the way down here toward the DFW Metroplex. That pushes east on Friday into Saturday. This includes much of western New York State, getting down into the Pittsburgh region here, Chillicothe, down here in toward the Columbus region in Ohio. Again, Indianapolis, Nashville, a lot of these places, Memphis, you'll be seeing some very heavy rain into Friday and Saturday with 1 to 3 more inches of rain here. But then we have to deal with the severe weather threat. So as this pushes east, it's going to be intersecting that warm, moist air, and that's where we have the severe weather threat across the lower Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, and the central Gulf Coast states, again, where it has been most of this season. And that is what we're looking at going into Friday. Possibly a more widespread, maybe a more intense severe weather setup here on Friday. North of that boundary of the stationary boundary or warm front, we're going to see more of a rain-snow mix up here. This includes eastern Iowa, southeastern Minnesota, much of Wisconsin, Michigan here, and portions of the Northeast. So we'll continue to watch this moving closer. There are changes likely, but I did want to show you the early estimates or placement of the snowfall within a couple of the operational models. The European guidance here, or the ECMWF model, shows that snow right over portions of the southern Great Lakes, maybe a couple inches there. The GFS model is not as progressive, so it has it staying back into the central plains like Kansas, Iowa. So there are big differences in the models and the placement and intensity of the rain or snow on the northern side of this system, and we'll continue to track that in the coming days. But what is more certain with the forecast is that we're going to have another trough toward the end of March here into the last week in March, going from March 25th through the 31st, move down across the west coast and then turn up toward the middle of the country, and that will bring more below normal temperatures here and then near normal to above normal across the eastern two-thirds of the country to end the month of March, and then active on both sides of the country, the west coast and the east coast, with kind of the middle of the country remaining near normal to especially below normal down here into the southern plains and toward the Rio Grande Valley going toward the end of March. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely appreciate it. If you guys liked the video, press the thumbs up down below. Leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new, and hit the notification bell to get all of my daily weather forecast updates on this channel. Have a great Saturday, everybody. A great rest of your weekend, and I will see you all in the next video.